One Piece. One thing to say.
Well,
He's not dead.
yes. But my one thing I have to say is Oda did it again with his stupid ass misleading title.
Yes.
He did it 2 weeks ago with Zoro versus Pika, and this week with chapter 779, the last battle, he did it again. He friggin' did it again. That and the fact that he decided to go on a huge cliffhanger before going on break next week.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, damn you, Oda!
Fucking hell.
Anyway, but let's get back to actually talking about the chapter.
Yeah, color spread was okay. I mean, it was nice.
It was nice, I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see anything more from the whole Jinbei side story.
That's more of Sanji we've seen since. That's more of Sanji we've seen this year than in the actual story.
Yep. But it's definitely different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was definitely, honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that we weren't getting a chapter next week, I'd probably give this like a friggin' like this would be the best. This if we eliminate the fact that there's no chapter next week, like if say for instance we look back on this chapter and someone's reading it and they can read the next chapter right after this, just looking at that, this chapter in terms of the confines of this arc is the probably up to this point my favorite chapter for one reason and one reason only. It did everything in its power to make sure that there was nothing down to the T, nothing else to do but the Doflamingo fight.
Uh-huh.
Like, you couldn't have gotten a better setup chapter. You started off with Zoro, hanging off the cliff and remembering getting up, and we got to see a friggin' Zoro training flashback with Mihawk.
Yeah.
Which was badass because Mihawk's Mihawk.
Mm-hmm.
And basically saying that, if you get even a nick on every nick on your blade is, a scratch on your pride, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, debt in your pride. So, you need to learn how to put hockey on your swords so they'll never break or nick ever again. And until you can do that, no booze.
Damn.
Which is like friggin' that's like saying you no more. Saying to Zoro you can't have alcohol anymore is like saying Zoro you can't breathe anymore. Like he's always drinking. Like he could probably beat Kana in a drinking contest.
Yes, I think so.
And the other guy from friggin' Quattro Puppy or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Like he's probably the heaviest drinker, and is still probably the most competent when drunk out of all the drunken characters across the series.
Right.
Like it's just amazing. And then you have friggin' Usopp who's like freaking out, like, "Oh, thank you. I thought I was gonna die and all that other jazz." And you have all the people saying, "Oh my God, we thought it was an illusion when we saw the statue being cut in half." And Kinemon basically giving his respect, finally starting to respect Zoro for his might and his skill, which is great.
Bart. And then freaking foamed at the mouth.
Bart, I thought he was gonna pass out, like he was foaming so much. I thought he had friggin' rabies and was gonna pass out.
My gosh.
And and Zoro being the being vice captain, basically gets everyone saying, hey, this was all good and this is all well and good, but you got to remember something. Friggin' Doflamingo is still alive. And you can tell that because the cage is still up.
Right.
then we all get to see the factory being destroyed by the Tontatas. So that's out of the way. Thank the fucking God.
Yeah.
That's out of the way. And before we get, and then Violet, and then they said now that Pika's gone, there's only 3 people left. And then Violet's like, no. There's only 2 left. A victor was just decided. But before we get to that, the last important thing to note was the fact that it seemingly Koala has snuck into the palace and seemingly where Luffy is, or at least, or near where Doflamingo is.
Uh-huh.
Somewhere around the action, and basically says is hiding like her life depends on it, and calls in backup. She couldn't have called in a better backup than Sabo.
No.
Sabo's like, no, and here's the interesting thing, Sabo is amazing and extremely powerful, and we know that. But the fact that such a powerful guy, says to Koala that there shouldn't be anything that you can't handle, just alone is a testament to her power, too.
Mm-hmm.
When someone as powerful as Sabo says to you that there shouldn't be anything you can't handle, then boom, that right there should tell you that that person's powerful. But she's like, no, the fact that I'm calling you means I can't handle it by myself, and Luffy's is in danger. So he's like, crap, I gotta deal with my friggin' annoying little brother again. Mm-hmm. And runs and makes haste. Now we get to the most interesting part of the chapter. Surprisingly, the most interesting part. The Luffy versus Bellamy fight. Which, is a little... I do have to take some points away for the fact that they made it end the exact same way that their last fight went.
I actually kind of like that, though.
I mean, yeah, I said a few points, not many, because it still is as awesome as ever. But it just doesn't have the same shock value as before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we start off actually seeing Bellamy on the ground defeated already, and then we get to see the flashback of the whole fight, which means it doesn't really make that much sense as to why they had to do that, but whatever. And basically, the words are said, and Luffy hockeys up and friggin' seemingly also activates his gear second, which means to deliver that punch to Bellamy.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where things get interesting. The words, if you remember, the words that were said was that Bellamy admits that he was wrong in idolizing and respecting Doflamingo.
Right.
But the odd thing was when he said that at least I will be led to death by someone I respect. Now, it's kind of interesting because it almost sounds like he's saying that he respects his word. Not just that, but everything he says seemingly is like he's saying that he respects Luffy too.
Yep.
To the point where, I hate to say it, but the friggin' people at the beginning of the arc saying Bellamy for next Straw Hat might be right.
Oh God.
Because think about it. I know what you might be thinking about that, but just the setup in this chapter, though, the fact that you have, what his words were, and the fact that he's still following Doflamingo, and the fact that Luffy has been got so pissed that he friggin' did. I thought, like, I picture, like, when they do this in anime, I picture it being more like, almost, like, people are saying he friggin', like, he's on par with, like, Goku screaming at Frieza about killing Krillin, like, Luffy's gonna go freaking Super Saiyan here. Like, Dolph! Like, some, like, friggin' DBZ screaming, like...
Yeah, I mean, he has some pretty intense screams over the years. This is probably one of the better ones.
This is probably not... Octanes. Oh my God, it's gonna be huge. It's like, they're gonna make... In the anime, trying to keep it a slower pace than the manga, is gonna really drag that scene out, too. Mm-hmm. Which is gonna actually make it more impactful.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my God, like, what before you even go over to the other part of that page to find out to see the last few panels, just that panel of Luffy screaming is like, oh my god, he's gonna murder Doflamingo, which also makes me think that Bellamy's going to. Another thing that's going to help make me think Bellamy's going to join, because the fact that is that he will die for Doflamingo. But if Doflamingo no longer is killed, he no longer has to feel ties to Doflamingo. He no longer has to follow Doflamingo.
Right.
Because the whole point he was making was that he cannot, even though he knows that it was wrong to follow Doflamingo, he has to keep following him until the end. Well, if Doflamingo's gone, he can't follow him anymore. So it's almost like Luffy's going to free Bellamy from his own foolishness by defeating and possibly killing Doflamingo. Like, Doflamingo may be one of those villains where Luffy might actually kill him. Especially when we see what is the actual state of Law's body. I mean, most likely he's probably beaten up very badly and probably on the verge of dying, to the point where he probably looks like a lifeless corpse.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means if Luffy didn't go Super Saiyan for Bellamy, he's gonna go friggin' Super Saiyan 20 for friggin' Law. Because, like, the fact of the matter is that these last few chapters have been serving as the fact of the matter is that this chapter made sure that Luffy got even angrier. Like, his seething hatred for Doflamingo has been getting stronger and stronger over the course of this arc. To the point where which is why I believe he's going to kill Doflamingo. He's just going to outright kill him.
In my opinion,
it'll be a good fight, but I think Doflamingo's going to die because it's the foreshadowing. Luffy has just gotten. Doflamingo just went too far in Luffy's mind, and Luffy just going ape shit.
I also think he's going to die, and I think it would be amazing if it was by Luffy's hand. But I honestly, who I think who's going to kill him? And I've said it in the past, and I still think it seems sort of likely.
Don't tell me Sabo, because Sabo's gonna obliterate Crable.
No, not Sabo. And not Kaido either. I think it's gonna be Fujitora.
You think Fujitora, like, what, you think Luffy's gonna beat the living hell out of Doflamingo, and Doflamingo is gonna be knocked out, and then, like, you're gonna see some scene where Doflamingo's slowly getting up, and friggin' Fujitora just comes in, gravity slice, and chops his head off or something?
I think there's gonna be something where maybe
it's implied
that he either they think he's dead or something like that, and he tries to escape. Like, obviously, like, things that happen like NL and Crocodile, where you have no idea whether or not they were dead until later on in that scene, or in that...
Well, of course, but you have to also remember that, as far as the anime-only viewers know, NL's dead. Oh, yeah, well, no, sorry. He went off into space.
Yeah, I mean, anime-only viewers don't know because they haven't read the cover stories, but I mean, it's not much of a spoiler for anime-only viewers because they should know. But regardless, like, you just don't know, and so it could be possible that it's something like that where he could be on the verge of death, like Law, and he might try to get away, and then Fujitora is going to be standing there like, nope. I'm going.
And you see him coming down with like a. Well, at that point, he'll have the authority. He should have, in theory, have the authority to remove his. Or, well, no. What he's probably going to do is he's not going to remove. He's not going to say, "Oh, well, your status has been." But he's like, I don't know why, but I have freaking Lethal Weapon scene set up. I think like friggin'. I don't know if you ever saw it. What was the one where it was like he's a dude from who's like, you can't, like, Fujitora's like says, I'm gonna kill you, and or looks like he's preparing to kill him, and Doflamingo's like, you can't kill me, I'm a Shishibakai. He's like, it's just been revoked. Slash. And then you don't even get to, just like with the whole thing when we thought Bellamy died. from that slash. Like it's going to be a slash, and then you just assume he's dead until a few chapters later, where you find out, when the news posts the article about the event, Fujitora is going to actually see. This is where the twist is going to come in. Fujitora, despite all this knowledge being released, Fujitora's even superiors would still not want his warlord position to be removed. He's still not. They're still not. Even after all this information comes out, they're still not going to strip him of his title. But what I think is going to happen is Fujitora is going to kill Doflamingo and then blame it on Luffy.
Yeah, probably.
Which is only going to serve to give Luffy a higher bounty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That's what I think is going to happen.
But either way, Doflamingo is dying soon.
He's going to get wrecked, like, very hard.
Well, as they say, karma is a bitch. And
yeah,
he's been eating at the Karma diner for so long, it's time that he finally paid his bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to pay with his own life.
Yeah.
But
this was a great chapter.
Oh, very good chapter. Great.
Yeah.
So, what makes this thing, just like I said before, the thing that makes this thing so great is that they literally made sure that they took care of every last little detail.
Yep.
Like, there's literally nothing else going on. There's no other plot points to deal with. Not a single one.
At least on the island.
On the island. And as we all know, we're not going to find out what's happening with Sanji until after Doflamingo is dead.
Yeah, definitely.
And the bird cage comes down.
Yeah, that was obvious for a while.
After a while, you mean?
Yeah.
After we got to a certain point, it was like, okay, Oda's going to keep us waiting until after this arc's over.
Yeah.
Tell us what happens. But there's also some very interesting things about what's going to happen, because a lot of people are saying that the Jinbei side story, cover story is actually going to, obviously be mixed in with the story because they think that that Jinbei and Watasume are going to carry the poneglyph or either carry it or take pictures of it, but go to Dressrosa so that way Robin can translate it. But also have Watasume being their transport to Zou, possibly. Which, I mean, how they're going to get to Zou after this arc's over is I've been saying for like months. After all we know for sure about the ending of this arc is that Doflamingo is going to die. And he's going to be defeated and he's going to die. That's it. After his defeat, everything's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally. The only other clues we have as to what's going on is we know that the Straw Hats and Law and Kinemon and Kanjuro all have to go to Zou. We also know that apparently in Japan in the fall they're coming out with toys based on characters from the One Piece Wano Kune arc, which hasn't started yet, which means there's a good possibility that we're going to go quickly from Zou to Wano Kune.
Mm-hmm.
So, with keeping all of that in mind, there still is way too much stuff in the air.
Yeah.
However, based on the fact that we're seemingly the next major arc is going to be in Wano Kune, and since seemingly Kaido has a connection with that, I think the first emperor we're going to take out is Kaido. I mean, just because of but then again, it could all change based on what happened to Sanji.
Yep.
Like, friggin' Sanji was fighting the Big Mom pirates and has been captured and Luffy has to go save him or something.
Right.
Or maybe or maybe the worst happens and friggin' Sanji's missing a leg.
Oh god.
No. King of Lightning will have a heart attack if that happens.
Oh yeah, I think so.
He'll be like, Sanji shows up, he's missing a leg, he has scars all over him. He'll be like, oh, he'll be doing a live reaction, and he'll be like, and just like have a heart attack and die, and then you have friggin' people like his family members upload the video to YouTube as a memorial to him or something.
Right.
But yeah, it was just but just the fact that we have to wait another 2 weeks. We have to wait 2 weeks before we get our answer as to what until this fight between Luffy and Doflamingo happens pisses me off.
Yeah.
But now, unfortunately, our previous theory about Law fighting Trable has been debunked. Heavily debunked.
Yeah.
Even if Law isn't dead, which he's not dead.
He's not dead.
But at this point, he's out of commission.
Mm-hmm.
Which means the final fight is going to be a 2-on-2 between Trable and Doflamingo versus Luffy and Sabo. Just the thought of Luffy, just picture that, Luffy and Sabo fighting side by side.
It's missing one more person.
Ace, I know, but you know there's going to be some like super symbolic like final strike where you have Luffy doing a Red Hawk,
yeah.
Sabo doing a Fire Fist, and you're going to have like like a spiritual image of Ace in between them also doing something, like like yeah.
I don't think my butthole can take that.
No, we can't. I don't think if that is just gonna like I can't wait to see King of Lightning's live reaction of this chapter.
I think Sabo could theoretically beat them both, but we'll see what happens.
No. Can't.
I mean, he could probably one-shot Trable.
Oh, he is, because remember, Trable's
flammable
stuff is flammable.
And honestly, I think he could beat Doflamingo at this point. I think there's just going to be some kind of dramatization that is involved. I don't know, like he's going to be like, leave this to me, Sabo, I'm going to take him out because I'm too angry.
No, yeah, but basically, Sabo's going to come in there and try and take them both on by himself. Or say that, oh, I'll take Doflamingo, you take Trable. And Luffy's going to give him that look like, no, I got Doflamingo. And Sabo's going to let him do it just because, he's a stubborn brat.
Yeah.
But he's still going to be there just in case, Luffy needs his help.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably going to stay back and let Luffy, out of respect for Luffy, and just let Luffy have his fight.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's the kind of person Sabo is.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we don't really know too much about his personality as an adult, actually.
Yeah. But I do think you're right, though.
Because it wouldn't make any sense for, because now Sabo's showing up to fight with Luffy against Doflamingo and Trable, it wouldn't make any sense for, him to, that's why the fact that Sabo, no one actually thought Sabo would fight Doflamingo. Yeah. Because you figure, oh, well, Luffy has to do it, and you wouldn't think Sabo would be there for the final fight. So, and everyone was thinking that Sabo was just going to be pushed to the side because he had his off-screen fight with Fujitora. Mm-hmm. Nope, he's going to take out Trable. It can't be any more obvious than that.
Yeah.
So, but this fight has been, this chapter just takes the hype for this Luffy versus Doflamingo fight and takes it to a whole new level.
And rams it up our asses because we have to wait a week for it. 2 weeks.
An extra week.
Yeah.
And this, if it wasn't obvious before, I think we can now safely say that Oda plans on making this fight even better than Luffy versus Lucci. Like,
I would hope so.
I mean, we all hope so, but I think the way he ended this chapter makes me believe that he does plan on making it even better. Like, I think I mean, no, I don't think we're gonna get at. I mean, this would be a wish, a dream world. This would be, perfect. If it was a perfect world, all the fights from here on out, all the fights that Luffy had from here on out would be on par or better than the Luffy versus Lucci fight. But they can't all be that good.
No.
But Doflamingo is just has been hyped up too much and is pretty much such an important villain to the story
Hmm.
that it's just necessary. Like the only other villains that are going to get this type of treatment are Luffy versus the Yonkos, and freaking Luffy versus Akainu,
Right.
and and I'm pretty sure the foreshadowed fight between friggin' Luffy and Admiral, like you still Luffy out of all the Straw Hats has by far the most fights that he's gonna have to have in that, like, the last arc.
Oh yeah.
You know, Luffy versus Blackbeard, Luffy versus Shanks, Luffy versus Smoker, Luffy versus Akainu, Luffy versus Kobe.
Luffy one shots Kobe.
No, Kobe's gonna be an admiral by then.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it would be kind of symbolic. Luffy versus Luffy, the Pirate King versus you know Kobe, who achieved his dream of being an admiral.
Still gets has an appointment with Luffy's fist.
It'll-
He's like, I'm gonna stop Luffy in the war. Nope, gear second, bam, one shot, dead.
or Gear Fourth, because everyone's saying that the people are still thinking it's going to be a Gear Fourth. There's going to be some kind of fourth gear type thing.
I mean Marineford, where he just got one shotted by gear
He's like
second.
Gear Second.
But yeah, I'm sure he'll put up a good fight because he has to because of plot.
He's Well, yeah, because it'll be the fun. And see, what I see the relationship I see between Kobe and Luffy in the end is probably going to be similar to that of um.
Garp and Roger.
Go, no, I was gonna. No, I was gonna say more um Roger and Whitebeard,
Ah,
because I think the Garp Roger comparison will be between Luffy and Smoker.
well, I sure hope so because Smoker has gotten shit on and shit on since.
Well, because Smoker is is the guy who's seemingly always, up until the Punk Hazard arc, of course, was always the guy who, can't always, that Luffy could never handle, and was just always the closest, was out of all the Marines, always was the closest to catching Luffy.
Hmm.
And he always seems to be on Luffy's tail. So and he's kind of like, and he's basically the character that's known for chasing Luffy, just like how Garp became famous for cornering Roger for so many times.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Smoker
Kobe,
needs a major boost though, a major boost.
well, I mean, yeah, yeah, but how many people? I mean, how many people could really stand up to Virgo? Because I mean, Virgo was Virgo.
I mean, he got dusted by Law, Virgo, Doflamingo. I mean, 3 times in that arc, he just got shoved aside like it was nothing. Man, I feel bad for Smoker because I really like him. I don't like his new hairstyle, but I like him. But
So it's definitely, like I said, the Straw Hats are being set up to have see, that's one of the things that's going to be super make like this. I remember last year, Oda made his most recent statement that One Piece is only going to last another 10 years. That's a load of bullshit because it's just going to take 10 years to have all the final fights between the various characters that are already being set up. You gotta fight. You gotta have Luffy's crew versus Blackbeard's crew, Luffy's crew versus Shanks's crew. You have friggin' Zoro who has to face Mihawk. And most likely gonna have to face He's also gonna have to face Tashigi, who's gonna be like a vice admiral at the time. You know, because friggin' like because that fight seemingly is a thing.
hmm
and you got a bunch of other fights that are gonna go down that have like so there's a lot of important details, you know, and so who knows what's gonna happen. It's crazy. It's there's just too much that's could still go on.
Right.
That for all we know, Oda could be probably planning some reason for friggin' Magellan to show up again, so Luffy could get his revenge on Magellan
Mhm.
for getting in his way, or something, and so there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because as we all know, this there's this big hype for this supposed world war that's going to happen. That's going to encase the entire world and probably going to be bringing back every character that was ever in the series.
Yes.
And we still have the wild card of the unnamed warlord
And Green Bull.
and the unnamed admiral. Or we know he's what is it, the purple monkey or something?
Green Bull.
Green Bull. Sorry, Green Bull. We know his nickname, Green Bull, but we don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen him. We don't know what he is,
Mhm.
or if it's even a he. Just because it's called Green Bull doesn't mean it's a guy.
No.
That would be. I honestly actually like to see that, a female admiral,
Same.
because it change things up a bit, especially since this whole thing was these two admirals were recruited during this Navy World Draft thing,
Yeah.
open draft. So I would honestly really like that because it would be different.
Yeah.
Just like how the Straw Hats need another female.
Yeah. I agree. They need a female.
A third one.
Yeah.
Probably, and the third female is probably going to be more battle capable than the other two.
Yeah.
I think
I would hope so.
just because not only mainly because she's going to be born and raised in the New World.
Mhm.
So I would hope she's more battle capable. Now, as to now, I for the love of God, she cannot be as much as she. I would as much as it. I would. It's as much as the highly likelihood of it being. I do not want her to be a swordsman. I do not want another sword fighter on the Straw Hats.
No, I want a Logia.
We need a Logia. That's what I'm saying. Is we need a Logia. We need another female, and we need a fishman. We
Yeah.
already got our fishman waiting in the wings. We just need Big Mom to be taken out before he can join.
Right.
So we need a female and we need a Logia, and maybe we'll be lucky, and Wano Kune will bring us a female Logia type that'll join.
Mhm.
The only question is what other Logia types are there left?
I'm sure there's plenty.
As I say that, Oda's thinking of something that I wouldn't think of.
Yeah. I mean, you could just like a plastic fruit. Like you could like.
There has to be something. Remember, it's going to be straw. If she becomes a straw hat, it has to be something unique but at the same but very like whose capabilities just really high high capabilities.
I know. I'm just throwing out just like random like oil Logia or something.
Mm,
I don't know. That would be perfect for a Red Hawk.
Red Hawk. Oh no, well no, because that would still hurt her because it's hockey laced.
I mean, like you could shoot out oil though. You know what I mean? Just
Eh,
like douse the whole area.
but that would also be good teaming up with Sanji because he could throw his flames.
Yeah, that's true. Spectre.
So it's definitely going to be interesting to see what if because at the same time though, because of this whole thing that was established by Whitebeard, there's the whole Yonko alliance system.
Right.
So we're gonna get a bunch more, like pretty much virtually all the people from the Coliseum, all the Coliseum fighters, Bartolomeo, and even if Bellamy doesn't join directly, he's gonna be a lot. They're all gonna become allies of the future Yonko slash future Pirate King Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is what, how, how is this gonna all go about? You know,
Yeah.
because if I remember, I think it was last week I said or a week 2 weeks ago maybe I said that there's a possibility that from Zoe, since we're supposedly going to be going quickly from Zoe to Wano Kuni, that there's a possibility we might stick with this whole split theme, and that we might a small group might go to Wano Kuni, and one of those being Zoro, whereas Sanji might lead a group to the Hoppo Navy's home country.
Hmm. Interesting.
So that way Sanji can learn their techniques, and Zoro can learn Wano Kuni's techniques to increase their own powers.
Right. That would be cool. But anyway, we've gone way, 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 way off topic. But it's
But
One
that's always
Piece.
what. Yeah. So
This is
we still have. Yeah.
this is one piece of off topic video.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so it was a great chapter.
If you guys are still sticking with us at this point.
If you guys haven't moved on to Toriko by now,